Alright, I've seen everyone else talk about it, so I want to throw my toes in the ring. Dip them in there and swish them about. What do I think about the Marvel's, the Vampire PvE mode? Right? Well, gonna be honest, on the contrary to most people, I kind of liked it a little. I like it a little more than I like the last one. Than I like zombies. I like Bloodhunt more than zombies. In different ways. Okay, so to begin with, zombies. I liked zombies after. Well, I liked zombies up until Nightmare 2. I am not the type to grind and min max everything all the time. And so I played up to there, and then I was forced to kind of min-max because that was the only way to really clear 3 and 4. Eventually cleared 3 and 4, and then if I played with my friends, I only played like Extreme or Nightmare 1 or 2, and we just played whatever we wanted, and it didn't really matter. Now this one, it's a little different, in the sense that you are kind of forced, not forced to min-max, but forced to grind. I like this one all the way up until about Nightmare 60. Nightmare 70 is where I would genuinely cap it. If I was, like, when I play for the other characters, I'm not going past. I want to hit 120 for all the rewards because I really want the Kingpin plush. But once I get that Kingpin plush, I am not playing anything above Nightmare 70. Because once you hit, like, 50, once you hit Nightmare 50, that is your gameplay loop for the rest of the time. No matter what, that's what you do. And it was fine with the other one, because the exact same thing happened in Zombies, where you will hop in and you play the same thing every single time. And I do appreciate that this one has new. It has, not new, but, well, yes, new areas and new bosses, and the bosses have new and different effects. They do things differently. That's really cool. I do like that. But I don't like that it's the same thing every time. Marvel Zombies was an RNG fest, where you hopped in and you just played the slot machine. Do I get to win this time? Do I not? Right? If you don't get the upgrades that you need, or you spend too long re-rolling, you just don't get to win. Sucks to be you, right? And that's kind of ass. And so this one, you don't have to do that mid-game. You have to do that beforehand. I had to grind for multiple hours to get gear that separated me from Nightmare 100 and Nightmare 120 because nothing about the game changes. Like, the boss's healths and stuff is higher, but they don't do any more significant damage because at Nightmare 100 and 105, they're pretty much one-shotting you anyways. To be fully transparent, I played Moon Knight when I was doing this. I played Moon Knight, and they're pretty much just one-shotting you anyways, so their health doesn't really matter. There's a lot of unavoidable moves depending on what bosses you get. Like, if they're playing Cap, and I decide, I want to touch the ground, and he isn't close to me when I decide that I need to touch the ground to throw more onks, or to throw onks better, I just die. I either die or I touch the ground, and immediately, if I see him look at me once, back, I have to fly away, or because he'll hit me with unescapable moves, or moves that take me too long to escape, because the glide really isn't that fast. But the last one had a lot of one-shots too, especially as we got higher up, which I wish it wasn't unavoidable one-shots, but there's 4 people, so it's fine, and people have beat it solo, so it's definitely just a skill issue. I dislike the grind of this one more. Well, I liked the story mode, and some of the nightmares better because it was more varied, it was more diverse. It felt like you could do more, and that the gear system was more in depth. Once you start grinding to try and hit 120 or above, that's where it just really loses me there. And even Zombies, where I said I don't like the grind there because it's so RNG hell based, I feel like RNG hell sometimes. I found that more entertaining than this because that was just terrible what I've been doing. And so I like this one better until you start grinding. Once you start grinding, the grind is so much worse because I could just hop in, play any character I wanted, do whatever I wanted, and do it. This time, if I want to play a different character and still be at the level that I'm at, I have to start from square one and spend as much time as I've spent on Moon Knight on them, and spend just as much time on Moon Knight that I spent on them searching for loot, gambling for loot, trying to get good loot, and even if you get the best loot, you go, shoot, that's critical damage, I need precision damage. Reroll, and it's not the same thing. Like, there's legendary loot, but not all legendary loot is the same. Sometimes you have one that's a lower rating that has the stats that you need, and you could get all S tier, right? Everything on the loot says it's S. It has all the best stats, but it's all the wrong stats, and it's worthless. And that is just so infuriating. The grind, so pretty much, I like this one. New enemies, great. New bosses, great. New terrains, great. In the nightmare modes, you fight different bosses in different areas after your waves and before your waves. That is awesome. You're not just in the same square doing the same thing over and over again. The grind is worse. The story mode is better, though I do wish you just played the full thing 3 times and it just got harder instead of unlocking it bit by bit. Or if you have to unlock it bit by bit, you pick up where you left off and the difficulty ranks up a little bit more. But that's just a nitpick on my end. Personally, nobody really plays it just for the story mode, so at least I don't think, so there's that. And then the grind just sucks. Grinding in this one sucks so much more than in the other one, and some of the kits are just not viable, because all of the Moon Knight gameplay that I have seen, that I've been trying to emulate, of anything where I'm at in Nightmare 120, because I haven't beaten it yet. I'm still searching for the stuff that allows me to beat that one, even though nothing about my gameplay will change once I get that loot. I am just grinding for that loot. Wow. Innovative. But anyways. What is... The only gameplay that you have of Moon Knight up there is throw unks on the ground, glide. Because the Brawl Moon Knight is really fun. I played him for a bit. He's really fun. He's really good to play. And then he's just not really viable. Like, make him more viable. He would be viable if you didn't get one shot all the time. If you weren't punching Ratataska and Ratataska said, nope, you're dead, and you died. That would make it more viable, but you can't really do that. You just die. And so there was a point where I said, maybe they were right. I have to start min-maxing, I have to start doing it, and once I had to start grinding, everything before the grind starts, 10 out of 10, I think it's peak, I think it's fun, anything's viable, you can do whatever you want, there's a leveling system outside of the game, you actually get to put time into it and feel like you're making progress instead of just playing an RNG game. Once you start grinding, terrible. I would much rather the RNG game than grind, because that one felt like it was just a trial, and I was doing the same thing over and over again, but it felt different every time to an extent, and I could choose other characters. If I went, okay, Magic's not working here, or I see my teammates lock Thor and Magic and Blade, I could go, okay, well, I want to play Jeff. Or you see 3 people lock Jeff, and you play Jeff as well. I have to play Moon Knight in order to do what I want to do. Unless I want to spend like 5 hours on Punisher, minimum, and that's just ass. Why would I ever want to do that? I don't ever want to spend 5 hours on Punisher just to get Punisher up there. And Punisher, only one of his builds is really viable. If I see one of my teammates with the other build, I go, oh, shoot, we lost, right? It's not very fun to grind this game. At least not for me. I know plenty of creators who think that this is not as fun, but they still like it, and that's pretty much where I am. Where I didn't like grinding, if I had to rank them, like 1 through 10, I would have given Marvel Zombies a 7 out of 10. I would give this one a 6 out of 10. 8 and 7 out of 10. 8 for Marvel Zombies and 7 for this one. I don't like it as much. I think the grind is much worse, and I think that all in all, it's just a different style, but it keeps many of the flaws from Marvel Zombies. And that's not even mentioning the fact that half the character roster and their abilities are carried over from the last one. Like, oh no, they got rid of Magic and added Squirrel Girl and Moon Knight, great. But Thor, Dash or Rune Awakening. Blade, Gun or Slide or Cut Faster. Jeff, Hide and Seek or Water Splash. It's pretty much the same upgrade trees as last time. Not every time, but as last time. So not only did we not change the roster, but it's the same upgrade trees. The abilities are a little different with most of them, but it's the same upgrade trees. And that's pretty annoying, especially with Jeff, because it really revolves around blowing up the bubbles. Something that you never really had to do in the last one, and they gave him the same upgrade trees, but nerfed him so that way you had to blow up the bubbles. And then Thor, you can't use Dash Thor. He's kind of ass. At least I've never seen anyone using him and doing well. Every time I've seen it, they die more, like twice as much as everyone else. They get half the damage. They're just not doing well. So yeah, those are my thoughts. Overall, I still think it's good. It is fun. Definitely, if you're just playing it casually and you don't care about getting all the rewards and everything, I don't recommend you playing over 70, because then you can play up to 70, and that's right. That's right about where it will start to get stale for your character, and right where your gear just starts to matter, like what stats you're prioritizing. At least for me, that's what happened. And then you can start over another character. You can just start over and you can do it again, and then by the time you get there, it'll start to get stale, and you can do a different character. And sure, it's going to take you like 5 hours for each character, give or take. But it's pretty fun, and I think up to 70, it's still really fun. It doesn't get stale until you hit 70. But yeah, that's pretty much my opinions. Not much to say. I think it's great. I think it's great that they're doing this. Don't get me wrong. And the fact that they are releasing more PvE at all is just incredible. So, yeah. I'll see you guys in the next one.